year is 2018. The year is 2018 and we wake up to more news than leaves in a breeze. There's too much to mention and not enough characters to squeeze. We've seen false armies staining hearts, plaguing lands, while political leaders carry on shaking hands. We've seen throats drawn open by minds shut closed. While the world tries to fit its anger in 280 letters composed, we've seen a world call out for a savior while we've subconsciously buried him deep, so deep that words elude our tongue, so we settle for a pen. To describe the world and the destruction of men, to inflict a permanent wound on these innocent white pages, to complain about life and all its prisons and cages. We're ready to complain. We're always ready to complain, but we're never ready to learn. We're always ready to cry, but we're never ready to serve. And that's exactly how it was when the calls were first heard. And that's exactly how it was when the calls were first heard. And fast forward 1,400 years ago. And here we are, fast forward 1,400 years, and here we are clinging to a shrine, telling them we're really, really ready this time. And they reply with, do you really know us to know the Imam of your time? We can only really know them if we go back to the beginning. So let's go back to the beginning of the beginning, when time itself was still. When the voices of creation were all that we could hear and dark matter was all that surrounded us. Together we all stood witness when there was no sunlight in the sky to show direction, and compasses would only fade into celestial reflections, where smoke and cloud dimmed all that could be seen until they arrived. The flittering and fleeting of infinite loops of light into rhythms and wavelengths that ripple through life's night, and quantum entanglements that vibrate and beat the drums of our hearts, played before they meet. Our souls that thrive with each moment's tide, and there we knelt before them as they prostrated before him, the five majestic lights. They became them, and we became us. Now fast forward to Arabia, and the year is 601. A mother feels the presence of her child. And this presence was like no other, so much so the house of God is calling her. And she enters into his sanctuary, and there angels pay homage and poets run out of vocabulary to describe the son to be in all his beauty and glory, Ali. And who was waiting on the other side? Who was waiting on the other side but the first light waiting for the second to arrive, knowing full well the destiny this child will hold? For he was the city of knowledge, and this here Ali was its door, and no man would fully comprehend him, the father of the poor. The prophet's one true heir, the hands that give in prayer, as thunderous as a storm in a battle, a devastating killer twist. But when it comes to love and manners, he's as gentle as summer mist. His knowledge will leave him lonely like the darkest depths of the ocean. In a pale world, in color he'll be drawn as a prostrating, bowing moon, bowing before Muhammad's majestic dawn. Soon, the world will either love him or hate him, the segregator of hell and the heavens. Just as life was created at the split of an atom. And like the sea, we either drink from the bitterness or his sweetness. So when the sun held the moon, Ali was seen in all his completeness. He was unveiled to man's desolate bleakness. And words can never describe Ali, and believe me, I've tried. I've lived to write about him because each breath describing him is traced from the Prophet's lips, and low lies can be attributed to the father of Fatima. No man can succeed the perfection of Muhammad except a man that was raised by Muhammad perfectly. But virtues can only touch the surface of perfection and always return saying, Ali is too perfect for me. But virtues can only touch the surface of perfection, but always return saying, Ali is too perfect for me. And here I am lost. And here I am lost for words between life's calligraphy. But what greater pen to untangle me than the pen of the wilayah that spills, Ya Ali. So I ask the question that still confuses me. How can the world try to block me from a love that drowns me so deep, it saves me? How love for him can get me killed, yet rescue me from the grips of hell that my sins have in store for me. How can the world not fall in love with Ali? How can the world not fall in love with Ali? That is the riddle that will forever bedevil me. Like apples that fall from a tree, we fall in love with him through the inevitable force of gravity. How can the world sit there and judge me, calling it madness? How can the world just sit there and judge me, calling it madness? But is it madness if the universe itself spins me towards my insanity like a planet's velocity perpendicular to the sun of Ali? No matter where I turn to, I'm blessed with him. Setting or rising, I'm faced with him. I'd settle for words. I'd happily be crazy and admit to any crime. I'd settle for words with no meaning nor rhyme. I'd fight with the stars and freeze specks of time if it means I can get caught in his paradigm. If it means I can get lost in his paradigm. وَأَفْلَحَ مَنْ صَلَّى عَلَى مُحَمَّدٍ وَآلِ مُحَمَّدٍ.